Howdy folks. I was just want to show right quick. This is one layer of VC harvested from my large flow through, and like I say, I just do it in little small layers. You can do several harvests on this thing before I got to worry about it. But what I was wanting to cover is this. I've been wound up. I take a hand rake and you can kind of go over this to break it up a little bit, but especially if somebody that sells VC, a lot of people ain't gonna be wanting to buy with these chunks in it, and when you screen it, it's best to use the 1/8" screen. Makes it look real good, pretty for the customer, but you wind up losing a lot of this VC. But I'm going to show you one trick that you can do to increase how much VC you get, and this is by no means just for somebody that sells it. If you are the type of person that likes it to look good even on your own garden, which personally I do sift mine, but you don't have to. And I was going to show you one way you can, when you rake it, like I say, it'll break it up, but you'll still get these big chunks. And if you'll notice, these, and it has to reach a certain point in a moisture level. It's where it's not real sticking together anymore, but it's still real nice and moist. But if you see these chunks of the vermicompost, and like I say, there's a lot of worm castings in here, you see how it'll break apart. And you'll actually have some hay and stuff that, depending on what you're feeding your bin, that doesn't ever break all the way down. And this is a lot of stuff what you want to run through again. And you might have little pieces of like something like this, little plastic. And if you're selling VC, people ain't gonna want stuff from your copy machine in there. I mean your shredder. But I'm gonna show you right quick how you can get a little more out of your VC. And if you look at this screen, and this is by no means the way you have to make it. This is just, used to be one of my stackables I made, but this 1/4" screen in the bottom is one size larger than your final screening process that I like to use, which is 1/8", which some people do use 1/4", but you can still run these through a 1/2" screen to get it for your 1/4", however you want to do it. But I'm just going to show you right quick. If you see these big chunks, if you put it here, let me just grab some out here right quick. Like I say, as you're raking it down, you can wind up breaking more of this up, but it's not all going to break up. If you look, I have it over here. Let me get it settled that way a little bit. You still see all these chunks and see how it's sitting on the screen. And all you got to do is just rub your hand across it like this. And like I say, see these big chunks? Let me see if I can get a little piece over here. You see this big chunk here, as you're rubbing it across, it's gone. And a lot of times if you're doing this with a little hand rake, it's not ever going to break up small enough. It'll be wound up, a whole bunch of this will wind up going back in your bin. And if you look, the way I did it now, out of the whole pile, there's a piece of paper that was in there, and you'll see a little bit of wood chips, whatever, from the horse bit it didn't process. But if you look at this down here now, this is well on its way to being broke down, where you can get a whole lot more out of this once you run your 1/8" screen through there, run it through your 1/8" screen. So, and like I say, you could sell it this way. I just like to get it one more screen size. But this is real nice looking stuff now. If you compare that to that, like I say, you'll see how this is. And if you compare it to this, once this hardens, you'd have some big old hard chunks in here. And a lot of people aren't going to like that. But anyway, hopefully this will help you out. And when you're using this, you still need to keep it stirred a little bit as it's drying a little bit, and by no means do you want this to dry all the way out, but it's getting pretty good now. And once it dries a little more, you run it through the 1/8" screen and you're good to go. But anyway, I just hope this helps you out, and that's it for now.